going to be difficult for me to make it. And you've got the phrase in here that we can have exceptions to that. We're always going to be battling a quorum.
Absolutely.
Whether
It's
we
always
have it
been that.
scheduled
Yeah,
or
it's
not.
always been a battle
Yeah.
to get a quorum every meeting, even no matter how detailed the details are given.
Yeah.
Because this is, everybody wants to be in this, but it's a secondary thing to making money.
I think how we had it too is we had the expectation, here it is, and then by the end of the meeting, we always said, okay, it looks like our next meeting will be this. How does that look for everybody?
Okay.
We kind of made the adjustment.
So maybe we don't need it to specify the first Tuesday of the month, but we
try to
could
reach for
say,
that.
yeah.
Or you say-
Okay.
Or you could say target date and, or whatever. I like that exceptions in this time, as you pointed out.
Okay.
Because like right now, of course, February 4th would be our first one, right? Would be our next meeting.
Yes.
And of course,
And I'm out because I'm going to have surgery the 28th. So I'm probably only going to be half a days that second week of my surgery. So yeah. So yeah. So okay. So do we need to make a motion for that then? Or do you want to just leave it as it's worded?
To me, as it's worded, gives
Okay.
you the flexibility to make changes as changes come about.
Okay. But as long, I mean, I think more than anything, I wanted to make sure that we were good, that so we really need to shift it back, try to get back on that first Monday or the first Tuesday of the month situation, right?
That was
Okay.
always the target.
That's kind of the target. Okay, perfect. All right. So no action's going to be taken there. The only other thing I wanted to point out within the other documents that I have for you is that, and I want you just to take these, and I asked somebody, I don't even remember who I asked them, like, have you ever read these? And they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. If you'll go to the next page, number 5, who is our chairperson, our vice chairperson, and our secretary?
Her, me, and her.
Who's the chairperson?
Jen.
Okay.
I was before her, so I've already.
Yeah, we just swapped. I think we just
Rotated?
every year about this time.
Okay. And so vice chair was who?
Me.
Okay. And secretary was Jen. Okay. All right.
Was I or was it Russell?
I'm on the
You're on a check right
bank account. So
Yeah, secretary treasurer.
Secretary treasurer is the same.
Yeah, I think we had,
position.
didn't Jess have 2 of those? Didn't she have both of you
There's
on?
2
I'm on the
signatures
checking
there.
account.
I think Jennifer and I
Yes.
are on it.
Okay. And then,
so what am I?
You and Janelle switched last year.
Jennifer-
Well, I thought I
I
was,
think
okay.
Janelle's out
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So I'm chair.
She easily
Okay.
can be welcomed back in.
Hang on.
Well, yeah, because I'm out. So you can have vice.
okay. So that is the question we need to. So while we're talking about this, I do have 3 individuals for District 3 that I'm going to bring to the commissioners next month. Somebody correct me if I'm kind of getting out of order here, but I felt like this kind of tied in together. So we needed 3. Sorry, I'm looking. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking for that.
And don't take my word on that, Chastity. I know you asked me about that. I thought the commissioners had to approve it.
They
but
do.
I may be
They
wrong.
did. We talked
Okay,
about it
okay,
yesterday.
okay,
Jim and I talked about
okay.
that yesterday.
Okay.
I was gonna say you always have done that way.
So, Jennifer, you are technically off as well this year.
Well, I was to be moved because I'm not in the district.
So you are moving to District 1.
Right.
Is that correct? So now you're back on a 3-year term.
Right.
Yeah, because technically you're in Allison's districts now, right?
Right.
And she'll be moved to 2.
I'll move to 2.
Because
Allison's district.
Jen's
Sorry, I
Jen's
gotta-
taking
sorry.
my spot
Yeah.
on 2
Okay, so yes, I'm right.
because I'm on 2.
Okay, and so your term now will be is it for 3 years or 2 years?
3, right?
Okay.
Yeah, 2 3-year terms, and then you got to be off a term. Then when you come back on.
Okay, so for our 3 individuals that I'm going to take to the commissioners Monday will be Janet Jackson, Ashley Allen, and Kenny Otto. They have all agreed to be part of this organization. And so I will bring them forward unless somebody has an objection of that.
I'll see if I can work with that Kenny Otto. I don't know.
I know. I didn't put the 2 together until after the conversation was over, and I was like, wait a minute, what did I do?
No, that's great.
Okay. So that will take care of those 3. But we are still missing one person out of District 1. We need to fill a spot in District 1,
And District 1 is,
the Lacine
Jason's
area.
area.
I did reach out to Tara Allen, but did not get back with me. She was the only one I could think of. I tried to find somebody that had some flexibility. So
yeah, she just doesn't have the
Right.
time. Okay, Janelle, we can, come on, guys. Let's think about this. I know you probably, I don't know. Jody Wade has a lot of, I don't know.
do you
if the-
think she can get away
I
from
don't
work
know.
though? Man, she's so tied up in that stuff.
I don't
I
know.
mean, she'd be a great voice. I'm not disagreeing
Yeah.
with that, but
I'm trying to think of some more.
Would Logan?
I don't know.
mm,
I don't know.
Logan might.
Logan
be a
Smith,
good
right?
one. Yeah,
Mhm.
Logan Smith.
Might be.
Or Rio, his wife.
No, I was trying to think business wise.
but you,
Who left? Was it
there was nobody there because, well, that, they left.
It would have either
left
been
the
Matt
district.
or the other.
Yeah, Matt or, gosh, I can't think of
Who
what her
left
name
was
was.
the other Brenda to left, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It was either Matt or Brenda because I don't think we ever replaced Matt when he quit coming.
The District 2 or 3.
I don't remember. I didn't keep those, bring this to mine.
Yeah, Brenda told
Bring
me
this
that.
forward. One was and one was not, because one was at the top of I remember on the initial page that I had of the District 1s, District 2s, District 3s. One was at the top and one wasn't. One was at the bottom, so.
But that seat's been open for a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I think that's what it was.
are you reaching out to one?
Who do you want me to reach out to?
No, I just like, okay, no, you're fine. I just,
my
I give that
trying
some
to reach
thought,
me and they
too.
keep.
so yeah, give that some thoughts and let's see if we can move forward maybe by next month with that situation. So, okay, so back to then number 6, the subcommittees. I mentioned to you that I am trying to develop a historical society
Which we had one.
group.
There was.
Correct.
It was me,
That's what I was just going to ask. Who is on that?
Jen, and Russell.
Okay, so we
Because we had been asked by the commissioners to go over their budget
budget. Yes.
and hear them out and
Mhm.
see if they had any requests or anything like that. I think we only met that one time, right?
Well, it was like it came on towards the end of the year. And so we met that one time and then that was just to decide if that budget was okay or if it wasn't or.
Or what their thoughts was on we listened to each individual museum.
And I would like to meet with them, not necessarily every month or even bi-monthly, but maybe quarterly at least, and kind of get a feel of what their needs are. I mean, it's really tough for them to come to the commissioners and ask for more money in their budget when we don't have a clue what they're doing. And so, and then the other thing is we would really like to develop a system that when they want to put signs up, and I know that I'm bringing this up because this was the topic that we had right after I started here, was we'd like a uniform sign, look of a sign that goes anywhere on our county property, that it looks the same, that you just can't put a sign up anywhere you want to without it being, one, approved by obviously the commissioners, but two, that there's a uniform sign to it. Our logo should be somewhere on it. And then
There
the
should be a
size
QR
and then-
code that shows you where the next one is or where the
Exactly.
corresponding, because I've done a bunch with Fort Scott.
Yes.
We've done a bunch with, we're making a bunch with the
It gives the
Historical
history piece to
Society.
that. Yeah.
So I've done a bunch of that as just being the lawn boy, putting the post and the signs
Correct.
up. And yeah,
But they've developed a system, and that's what I would like for us to be able to do here. I feel like, here's my thing. I feel like and I've been here honestly a little over 8 weeks. I feel like our historical society people, the 5 that's in the group, or the 5 that are out there, are at each other's throat. And I want to bring us together. We all have a common bond, and it's to continue
It's
to
like,
share
there
our
is no reason for that whatsoever.
it's not versus, it's us. It's
Yes.
all us.
And so I really want to bring us together. That's my goal, is to bring us together, and let's again have the same common bond of how can we get our history out there, and to keep it alive in a very calm.
Well, and don't you think, I know you, like you said, you keep going back to the fact of the signs, which I totally agree. But I also think that once we get the website under wraps and there is a site that has a historical, that they all list their events on that.
Exactly.
So people can look, and so they can be like, okay, I'm in the area this week and these 4 places have these things going on. So everybody gets visited at the same time, instead of we're planning an event and we want everybody to come here. Well, if you kind of all scatter them out, then
Right.
everybody can
Yes.
see those.
So that's a whole nother thing on our website. We want to have a communities tab, and each community will be able to have a place. And, when they're ready to upload their information, that information can be uploaded easily, and it can be changed from time to time, just as you mentioned with those events. We also are looking at having a live feed of all the events, upcoming events that are coming on. So anyway, I'm really, like I said, if I had my way about this website, would have been done yesterday, but I'm really excited about moving forward and trying to really start going, okay, yep, this is who we're going with, and let's start developing this baby. So I spent a couple hours in a strategy session. It's just, I don't know if anybody's ever done the behind the scenes part of that website, but holy moly, there is so much thought
Oh my
put
gosh.
into this thing, and making sure that it's right, and it's before it goes live. It is, anyway. I'm
It's
nervous,
and
but I'm excited.
having multiple people look at it, because how she looks at it is not how I look at it, which is not how he looks at it. So I know when we were doing ours, it was like I would send it out and they were like, "Did you notice on da-da?" And I'm like, "No," and so, but it is such a huge deal.
Right.
And if it doesn't look good, and the other thing with the company that we went with, for a very small fee, you send them the stuff, they update everything. I mean, like,
that's
we
how
have
mine is.
somebody here, which is great, but he's doing 15 other things. So,
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
You
mine's
talk about the cross
mine's a plug and
promotion.
play.
yeah.
Cross promotion is huge, but will there be one, they submit to one person, or at least a department? No
think
one
it's
else
going
is
to be
uploading.
me. I
Okay.
think I'm gonna.
So there's the cohesiveness there, but the cross promotion between the communities or businesses, that's
Yeah.
important, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your guy that I met with said, if I were her, I'd have done this different, but she wanted it this way.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
anyway, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is interesting how.
And
Yeah.
the company I
Everybody
use,
thinks.
they send it out to beta. So they send it
Okay.
out to, hey, what's your target audience? And then they send it out to certain age groups of that, and then come back with input
plan.
of people I have no clue who are.
Okay.
So there's no inside, oh, well, I'm going to tell him it's good because it's him.
Yeah,
It's
right.
totally, they don't
But
know
the
me, I don't know
2-click,
them.
3-click thing, it is. I mean, if they can't accomplish what they need to, they're done and they're out.
Yep. I agree, 100%. So anyway, subcommittees, Jen, you're going to stay on that? Is that what you're telling me?
Sure.
Okay. Janelle?
When, what is this? The story?
This is the historical, so it would just be,
Is your dot, or,
yeah.
I got to be done.
And if you want to
I-
wait
I-
and see if one of our, we don't have to do this right now. We can wait with our
Okay.
new group if we want to, and see if one of.
I'm
them can
open
tackle
to it, but yeah, let's.
Okay, let's.
I'm the same way. If somebody else is like, hey, I want to jump all over this, like, for instance,
Yeah, that may.
Kenny Otto, I know he has tons of history. I mean, he might, well, it'd be my father-in-law now,
Who's that?
Kenny Otto.
Okay.
Yeah. He has tons of history.
Well,
He
he would
would,
be one that has more time than most of us.
Correct.
Okay.
So I don't know if you noticed, but all three of those individuals that I chose, Janet is with the,
she's another
She's
one.
gonna put me, and she also runs the Mount City Housing Authority.
yes.
Yeah, she would.
But Ashley has small children and is our future.
Yeah.
And then Kenny, because of his background and history of, you know, the community and that sort of thing. So those are why we kind of went with those individuals.
He was a principal here.
For years. Okay. So that took care of that piece. If you just want to go to your bylaws piece of this, I just want to let you know this was updated as of 4/24 of 23. It talks about on section 2, dues shall be paid annually. Do we have dues?
Huh? Oh, to the E community?
Yes. So I'm kind of combining the two.
You don't pay us any dues.
Okay, so that can be eliminated out of there.
Yeah, okay, I'm not looking at it, but we
Okay.
don't dues, so I don't know what that.
Okay,
Where did you say? Oh,
no, section 2.
Oh,
Into
right
the
there at the
general-
bottom.
Yeah, at the very bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope. Turn it over. The bottom, very bottom of section 2.
oh, a difference, like Article 5.
Section 2. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Hmm. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to eliminate that piece. Do I have to make a motion for that? Probably.
Or we can, if there's any other changes.
Yeah, there's going to be maybe some more. Okay.
established from time to time by the Board of Regents.
But that's not us, right?
Shall
The
be
foundation
paid
and us are two
annually.
different things.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are, but we're not. We're combined together. So you are, when you're on this board, you
So
are.
Jason and Christine and Kathy.
They
and
were
Eric
the
and Matt
initial
here.
membership. No, they were the initial membership.
Hmm. Oh,
Interesting.
I don't know.
and they're no longer on the member foundation?
This is why I brought this to you guys, because this is foreign
that
to me.
is-
I mean,
Yeah, the foundation part of this, I've never, the 6 years or however long I've done
That
this,
was prior.
talked about it once.
Talked about this year.
I never, never once have we even, it's been,
This first I've seen of this.
What
yeah.
was the foundation created for?
What was the date on it?
April 23rd, or I'm sorry, April 24th of 23.
Hmm.
And as you can see, it says draft across it.
2023. Kathy wasn't even here then.
This is what I'm getting at.
That was-
The way I understood it, this is when this,
I mean, as far as a,
I think
not
this was
when
developed
this
longer.
formed,
before.
yes, this was developed long ago, like when the E Foundation, or when that foundation part of it started here in Mound City. And these were the individuals on it at that time. And this was the draft. Do you want a copy of this?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, this was created.
And maybe this is
When these
nothing
folks
we need to
were-
worry about, but I do think it is something we need to.
Well, and maybe,
And I might have some input on it if you reach out to Jason.
Right.
and ask him about this.
yeah,
Well,
because that
maybe that's
never
where the
once has it ever
dues-
been brought up in any of these meetings.
I think. with-
I didn't even know it was a
Economic
thing,
Development,
honestly.
Committee. I think it was, maybe. That was prior to me, I don't know.
But like I said, you can see that it has the word draft over the top of it. I
Yeah,
did
I
not
don't know.
put
I don't
that.
think, well,
That was already there.
I've slept since then, but I don't ever remember in the whole time of doing this, have we ever talked about, mentioned, brought up anything about the foundation?
Okay. So Janet, this may be a question for you. If this is I understand these are quote unquote two different maybe entities or two different organizations, but from what I understand from the former economic development director, if I'm correct, these meetings were held in the same. E-Community Foundation and our E-Community group were one and the same.
I believe that to be true.
Okay.
I would say that we have sort of an agreement with a local entity, which is where our funds flow to. That has been this legal in county community foundation. So because I know Jessica attempted to change that at one point in time. And so
We never
that was
signed
the
it,
group
but-
we originally had before. connected, and that's the way that's been. It does not have to be from our side, and I don't know why you've got the two
This is years
organizations
ago.
set. A lot of my
So in
communities just do it.
That was
For
3 years
instance,
ago.
Fort Scott Chamber is the, all the money just flows to them, they have a separate line item for it. So you can certainly do it under one organization. I'm not sure
Okay.
why it's was set.
So maybe we should make a motion to dissolve the foundation. And
But was it ever signed?
Yeah, because I never saw it.
Yeah, that's what she's saying. Yeah, and I can't find anything
I
that
don't think we have
shows
to.
just the signs.
It's never reduced.
We never signed it. Did you sign this?
There is, so that's what I was going to say.
She would transfer money, but she would always tell me, it's such a pain, I have to get the money and then transfer the money. And this group has to file some kind of a nonprofit tax return, and it was always like, it's annoying because it shows as income. And really, I'm just funneling this money through, but I can never get the change on my end because our agreement is with this group. We can change that, I think, if we for sure to do it.
So this checking account that Russell and Janelle's on, you said, or Jennifer is on, this is what I called you about a while back. That's what this checking account is. Right? That's what you're implying. It
Yeah, when
says
we had,
Linn County E-Community Foundation.
Yeah.
that's when you had that first meeting, you're like, what is
She was
this?
moving it to county or wherever she
we
had
needed.
to move it, is my understanding. Because I know he did talk to me at one point about moving funds.
So are you implying, I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding this. We need to open a whole separate checking account with a whole different name.
Not necessarily, I mean, it could be Linn County Economic Development or something, and then money can just go directly to whatever your county budget line item is. I mean, there are many of our communities do that. I'm not sure why you're set up this way. I'm guessing it goes back to Dennis.
I was gonna say, Dennis, Jessica said, Dennis said it.
I wasn't bringing it up. I wasn't gonna say it.
Jessica, yeah,
Like that, I think, at least in Henderson County, and maybe here too, because he wanted this entity to have an entity that could own property. And so.
oh,
I mean, in Anderson County.
We actually-
Yeah.
You own property.
and I think that
So
foundation
property
probably,
Community foundation, or it's open county. I don't know how that
We probably need to
works
look
here.
I-
at first.
Anderson County would investigate
Property
what their
ownership.
property was owned by the community foundation.
and I believe that 15 acres is owned by the foundation.
Yes, it doesn't matter to the county, what I thought.
Yes,
That's correct.
That's
Yeah.
that
maybe why.
15, I think that foundation owns that 15 acres.
Yeah, I think that was a Dennis.
On Tucker Road.
So we better not involve anything just yet.
I think that's why, I honestly think that's why it exists and why Jessica had such a hard time here on the tax side of it,
Yes.
because we do own property, whether we, that goes to the,
I think part of the issue was getting people to fill the economic development and probably to fill this
Yes.
became one of the same
Yes.
versus having a dozen.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't sure exactly how to dissolve the foundation because it does have property connected to it.
Yeah.
I think became the
Became
issue.
an issue, and she wasn't sure how to proceed, and I can.
so we can't dissolve the foundation
I
because
wouldn't just.
economic development.
Until, yeah,
can't
because
own
the
property.
development can't, yeah, it can't.
Let me ask you guys this, why can you not bring it to an attorney and have an attorney look and see what the way it is with the land and things? That makes sense, to see whether we can get.
And see if it could get merged into
get it
one. Yeah,
I've
that
got
makes
Well, and I
sense.
think we would have,
I think
that would have to be a commissioner call, right? We couldn't do that.
I mean,
I'm not
bring it
opposed.
to us, bring it to us, then we'll
Okay.
decide, as a commission, see if we can't get it straightened up.
Because if you have the
Okay.
same people filling both seats.
Well, I thought there were two names, I seen Christian Kroll and Al Hurt was on the checkings account somewhere. Is that
Okay, that's a whole
That's part of
different
the
thing.
foundation, right?
So let's talk about that, because that was brought up at the last meeting. I've reached out, had a long conversation with Al Hurt. Somebody else had a conversation with Kristen. And what it is there are two quote unquote foundations. I just met with Wabunsee County on Friday of last week, and they do the same thing. They have an individual that started a quote unquote foundation, a community foundation, I think is what they initially called it. And they went through all of the tax stuff. So let's say you pass away, Josh, and leave $15,000 and you want it left to e-community, or maybe you don't know where you want it to be left, but your family says, you know what, we're gonna leave it to e-community. They're doing some great things. They can go through there and put that through there. And by running it through that, it eliminates the tax issue.
Right.
But then anybody can come, I mean, I say anybody, the group kind of comes in on the backside and can use that money without, again, the tax issue,
Correct.
which I believe is why this foundation,
And
without her and Kristen Kroll, were made as well. So they did
now
something with
this
them.
because of the sidewalk that went in at the ball complex
Okay,
is why Al made
that foundation. Okay.
foundation.
And I know the church at Prescott used it as well. And so it's
Correct.
technically was like for them to be able to use a 501c or
They didn't have
501c3.
one, but they could go through, they
Yep.
could work through.
They could go through that.
Yes.
Yep. And so they deposited that money in that account. So it, you know,
That
it's
is
tax whatever. And then they turn around and Al gave them the quote unquote their money back without tax
Correct.
basis. So from what I'm understanding, that is probably, or that is why Al's thing was made in the same way with Well Done Save. So, but it sounds like that's what our foundation is about as well. Correct or not correct? You think that is?
I think that what you just described sounds more like a general community foundation.
Yeah.
Which is where it has a bunch of different funds. Each community was probably tied to the Kansas City community at the
Okay.
start.
That
It had
501,
its
yeah, that,
unique situation.
Okay.
that 501c3
I think we need
was a
Be
grant.
more specific on names.
That's what it's so
Don't throw e-community into anything. This is,
I know.
it's like,
So I'm like Jim. I would like to,
Get it.
and I'll ask for
Streamline.
legal counsel on Monday that I can meet with them and ask and see if we can't get this to come together. And I know Garnett is doing the same thing. I visited with Jessica Mills
Well,
over there
They are. because
numerous times.
Who do you go to if you're trying to get something? Do you go to Al? Do you go to you? Do you go to, because all of it has specific paperwork that it's hoops you got to jump through.
Right.
And that's why the foundation, general foundation grant, I think was made that 501c3 because there's some things that you guys can't touch that they can.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
the other advantage I could see is sometimes there are grants out there that maybe the 501c3 could apply for that you could not.
And that's what that was a
So that
sidewalk
could
issue.
be
Okay.
another reason why he set this up. But I do feel like
Okay.
it had something to do with land ownership.
Yes, it did.
The counties is all tied up
Okay.
with this one.
Okay.
Yes, it was the same person. Yes, they do. That's
Yes.
they own some, sort of industrial property.
Same thing. I think he did the same thing of,
It's
he
almost-
sliced out 20 acres of each area he was in for the E community to have something as a space start. And then that's what he said.
Fiasco.
Close together.
But legal
Probably
counsel.
100%.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll do some digging in regards to that. All right, we talked about historical committee, the goal of developing the historical board, which like I said, I'm working on. Old business, I would touch base just a little bit. That's what I wanted to share with you regarding Kristen and Al and how that came about. Checking accounts, signatures, we need to take Jessica's name off there and add my name. So do we have to make a motion for that? Okay, so somebody will do that.
I make a motion that we move forward with updating our checking account, changing the names from Jessica Hightower to Chastity Ware.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed?
and then will we all have to re-sign,
Mhm.
Russell?
Which would be the three of us, Jen, Russell, and I, right? Okay. And can that be done at the leasing office, or do I need to go to Oswani? This says Oswani.
Oh, no, we can do it. there.
Okay, perfect. Just a second. Okay. And just so you know, currently that balance in that checking account is $4,404.17. So, and that was as of, I just got another statement yesterday. Okay, moving on. I was called the other day from the bank here in town, and we have a certificate of deposit that came due. It came due 11/22, and so we weren't able to talk about it in December. Jill Nation informed me that it could just sit there until we decided what we wanted to do. She did give me all of the information report of everybody's name that was on our governing body of our corporation. So that will need to be updated through the Office of Secretary of State. I will work on that moving forward with the new. I probably will wait until we have our board full before I move forward with that, just because I don't need to do it twice. So getting everybody's names changed out of that sort of thing. So there's that. My question is, what would you like to do with that certificate of deposit? It was a 12-month thing, started in February of 2023. I'm sorry, no, this might be the original piece. I apologize, because this one's different time frame. But their balance as of 11/12/24 was $5,301.95. Interest was $118 that we earned. So I just need to know what you would like me to do with that moving forward.
What are the rates?
Good question.
Okay.
Round 4, aren't they? 4.2.
Is this for the economic development or e-community?
It says the Community Foundation. So again, see, I don't know if
Well,
there's-
I think because I think
What was
what
the
she
money
did was,
set
I
aside
think
for?
what we did was take our leftovers from last year's budget.
rolled it over. Okay.
Yeah.
So that way
Because you
we started at
initially,
square one.
minimum balance was $1,000 that you started out with. And that annual percentage rate was 0.35. And this was done, I mean, Christine Teagarden signed this, Janelle,
Oh.
and Jessica. And that was, I'm trying to look, the initial
21?
date open was 2/23/22.
23.
You've slept since then.
I don't know.
That was with Christine.
Well, the rate
Yeah,
should
we
be
went
higher now.
Yeah, it's the rate should be higher now.
But I think we initially started that on the, what do we do with the leftovers at the end?
And we were going to
Okay.
have each
And we
year.
started-
So like
we
that,
added
like this balance that was left over for this 4,000, you rolled over a portion of that.
Into
Okay,
the
I
CD.
got you.
Yeah.
I understand that now. So Jill Nation, from what I understand, we don't have to do anything. We can leave it as it is and it can just continue to mature.
But it.
At the higher rate?
We need to.
I think you need to,
Right.
I think you need to,
Re-engage.
and maybe shop it to everybody
It was
in the
a
county.
3% for 12 months, and I suppose they would be willing to go 12 months again.
What are you running?
I don't know. If
Oh,
they'll-
yeah, sorry, there's 3%.
I don't know if there'll be 3% there or not. I mean, it hadn't changed probably a ton, but
Is that kind of going
mhm.
on all of them?
Yeah,
So this
I
would be your
guess-
secretary, treasurer, and your president, it appears, and your director that need to sign if we're going to update and
I guess
change them.
what I would suggest right now while you're sorting through all this, let's just
So leave it as is.
have
Just
them
let them.
quote us the best
Okay.
rate they can and take a look at
Yeah,
renewing.
so if it's a
it, just
6-month CD and that's the best rate, then we go 6 months. If it's a 12-month, we do 12-month.
It's less paperwork for you.
Especially
But that's
With
amount of
you
money. It's not
filling
like we're
the
gonna be making,
committee.
Right. Okay,
you're not gonna retire on that.
yeah. Sure not. Okay. All right. I just want to give you an update in regards to the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge. I am working on getting judges for that March timeframe. I've already started reaching out to some of them. This is so foreign to me. I was not involved with it last year when I was teaching. So I'm going to meet with Josh. We're going to have a few little conversation. I'm going to meet with Janet so I can, I'm just totally blinded, but,
and I will still help out with that.
okay, perfect.
It's a fun, it's
It's
nothing to be.
I know, I'm really upset I didn't take the time to go and meet and see that take place last year. It just wasn't my deal. Terry Gentry
And-
took the reins and just went with it.
Well, and it's going to be kind of a fun thing because the kid that won last year, we're starting on his building next week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's something that, yeah, it was a pipe dream, but now it's reality.
Mhm.
We're
For sure.
putting the building in next week.
And I think that's something, I don't know, I think that's something we could talk to the newspaper in Pleasanton, Walker, and be like, this is what e-community did last year. This was it. Now here's a picture of reality. I mean,
It's great publicity.
Just like our website. Once we get that thing.
Yeah.
set up, that
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Content's everything.
Well, and
Fresh content, yeah.
well, and just content in general. You know how many hits I got on?
People's expression, put it in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know,
I had 16,000 hits on
And
weather
Facebook,
reports
I mean, you know,
during snowing. Those little Facebook blips of, hey, here's what 69 looks like. Here's what 52 looks like. Here's what 7 Highway looks like. Got 16,000 hits
Facebook page.
on my Facebook page. And probably 800 new followers on me showing what's going on when I'm driving from place to place in the plow truck.
I guess I need to be a follower.
Does anybody else have, oh, I guess just one last thing. If you'll take the very last document that I've had for you, I'm sorry, kind of got off track there. This says the statement and purpose of the Linn County Economic Development Committee. Again, I'm not reading it to you. I wanted you to have these documents in your hand. I'd like for you to spend a few minutes in the course of between now and our next meeting and just read over and just make sure this is exactly what we want to stand for. I'm not saying it isn't what we want to stand for, but I'm going to guess maybe you didn't have this document either. This document, as from what I can see, was last opened and designed of February 9th of 2021. So anyway, I just wanted you to have these documents in your hands so we're all on the same page and understand and maybe I personally feel like coming together as the E-Community Foundation, E-Community Board is probably the right route to go. Then there's no confusion. Just like you said, anytime I hear e-community, I just instantly think of this board and what it's about. From what I understand with Garnett, which I know they're in the same situation, but they were doing 2 separate meetings, but with all the same people. One was being open public and so anyway, they got a lot of mess to clean up over there as well. And I'm trying to get our mess. And I don't even know that we're in a mess. I just think there's a lot of misunderstanding and not maybe clarity. And I want clarity. I said to Jim yesterday, I'm a black and white person. I'm very minimal gray. I'm like, this is, so again, if we're going to go by different things in here, then I want to go by this. This is what we have them for. And somebody's going to call us out on it if we're not careful. So.
Well, and I think like everything, I just had a conversation this morning with employees of the fact of don't make a handbook if you're not going to follow it. Don't make a document if you're not going to follow it.
Jim's heard me say this at every meeting the last 3
Never
meetings.
mind.
I'm like, my teaching days come out of me if I'm like, if we aren't going to follow this.
Like a rule, you gotta make it double. A lot of times when you put a rule up there, you gotta make a rule to take care of one.
Yes. Yeah. So I just, I agree 100%.
And if you're not going to follow it, then don't put it in there.
Yeah.
This is the rule. Here it is. This is the document. Here's a living
here's a line in
document.
the
Here it
sand.
is.
It's black and white. It's
Yep.
written.
So this is one reason why I'm asking, and right back there's the QR code if you want to go straight to it. This is my big, soapbox right now is when I came on board, there were 45 individuals that were part of this Civic Plus or Civic Ready, whatever it's called. I think it's Civic Ready. Civic Plus is the website. And it is a notification system. And so when our courthouse was closed last Monday due to the weather, it could have gone out to literally every employee. But instead, I spent an hour and a half trying to find phone numbers, contacting my nephews who had to contact somebody through Snapchat to get to their dad. And I'm like, if we would have just made our employees be required to have this, we could have solved some issues. And so I'm asking you as a board that you should be required to have this. And this is how, notifications, especially emergency notifications, courthouse is going to be closed or chastity is, whatever.
And then when you show up to work and the office is closed, sorry, you should have signed up for the thing. There's a consequence.
And everybody in the county can sign up for it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. 45 people out of 9,900 people are signed up for that. We pay a chunk of money for that. Okay, let's get that baby marketed and let's use it the way it's intended to be used. Or
Is it up on our social media pages or website or anything about?
I have no idea. You are talking to the wrong person when you talk about social media because I do not believe anything should go out on Facebook because that's where the trolls come in at. And people, I read several county employees barking some not so great things. My thing is if it's all in the website on one place, that's the only place it should be. I might not see all of your things, And I didn't see that there were some heating or warming stations when that weather was going on because I didn't fall in the algorithm. So unless you are specifically going to look for it, you might not find it on Facebook.
Yeah, I did, like you saying that, I
Right.
gotta go out and look. I didn't know
Yeah.
you had that. So,
I just got a notification yesterday for something at the high school from 3 days ago.
Yeah.
3 days, so it's already gone and passed.
Yeah.
So, but if it's on the website, boom, we could have put a big banner across that website that said, county offices are closed with the exception of the, non-emergency, I should say. Personnel is not working due to the weather. We could have made things just a whole lot easier. So,
and I think a lot of times, people that aren't very techy, they just need somebody to hold their hand, which we found that, okay, you say QR code and that, for us, we use it every day. But for somebody that's been at the county 100 years, they're like, what do I do with this QR code and how do I make it do this? So sometimes it's just the fear of it,
Brian
holding
Ware.
the hand. Right. Brian Ware, get this QR code. He's like, I don't even know what to do with that QR
He's
code.
like my brother.
Yeah.
It's that whole team up there in that facility.
Yeah,
They're like,
exactly
we don't do
right.
that.
And then the fear of they don't know who to go to because they don't want to look stupid.
Right.
And say, I don't know. It's like, just come to me if you
That's
don't
right. That's where I think that's kind of where Jim and I were talking about yesterday. I said to him, who do you want? We want department heads. Who do you want to take care of this website? He's like, we want you to. So, okay, that's great, but it's going to take up some of my time. So I might, which is great. I'm for it because I am all about the communication and the notifications. It used to drive me crazy up there at the school. Nobody wanted to communicate. Nobody wanted to notify anybody of anything that was going on until last minute.
Jennifer, how do you guys do, who updates yours?
So we have a subscription with the people that does our website. So I automatically just send a little email up. They take care of it.
That's the same with my service.
If anybody wants to change throughout your
Yep.
organization, it has to go through you to them.
Absolutely.
And
And
that-
I just send it right up to them because there's some things simply that, yes, she can change, but some of that stuff, I mean, you're getting into a
You're
whole
getting into
nother-
coding and
yeah,
all
all
kinds
that.
And it has to show up on each page.
And I
as
mean, it's a
refresh.
very minimal charge and they,
Like a fair
and
board.
like advertising, all that stuff that you want to do, special events.
Rules and things that you gotta be careful what you put on it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But they stay up on all that.
They know all same deal. I don't know who she uses, but the service I use is $200 a month.
Yeah.
And that gets me my own person that I can call or send an email and say, hey, I'm having this event or I'm doing this. And within an hour, website's
Yeah,
changed.
mine's a lot less than that. I don't.
Yeah,
pay
I think, I think it's $95. I think it's $95 a month. But I think it's like, don't quote me on this, but I think it's a subscription of $2,000 for the year and then $95 a month on top of that type of deal, if I remember correctly. But I'll bring all of that to
See, and
you.
mine's that straight
Yeah.
flat rate. And
I think you pay the one
get-
amount for it to be built and then
A maintenance.
throughout the year. So I only pay
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So, but then, and then if it's a big, and you get so much time with that, like you
So
get
many hours.
Yes.
or whatever.
An hour a
so many
month or
hours.
2 hours a month. Yeah.
But you can send that stuff up and I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me. I'm getting some employees lined up now that I'm going to be able to delegate that stuff, some of that stuff to, but it's hard to remember because it's like our billing goes out or this goes out and trying to make sure, did we get it on the website? Did we get it on the billing? Did we get it on?
That's a question I have. How do we make sure each department stays on top of what we need to make sure we're getting the right information out to them?
Well, that's where it's going to be, I think, where I'm going to have to, on a regular basis, reaching out, and saying, I literally was thinking about that last night, that if this is a task that I'm going to take on, that I'm going to have to, have a flow chart that says, I reached out to, it's almost tax season,
That's why-
taxes are due type of thing. Yeah.
Each department, we're gonna have to figure out a way to make sure that they stay on top of what we need.
Yeah.
to have.
And I think it goes back to what we talked about and learned out at our KAC conference. It's a culture change. It's like, this website needs to become our Bible.
Yes.
It becomes the
We
Bible.
have to hold people accountable
Yep.
to make sure that they put the right information.
A lot of times, one thing we used to, each department, they'll have a count, just like you would a calendar, and they have headlines. Maybe there's 2 or 3 things they can talk about each month. And then that's a kind of a tickler file, and they remember other things come up, but at least they have something to report or update and refresh every single month.
Yeah.
So, and some things will never change and sometimes we'll have some new announcements.
And some of those questions that you're asking are questions that I've asked already within those groups that have visited with, and there are solutions to those. So, yeah. All right.
Before they go, you might want to have the board vote on doing a YEC grant, just so you have.
Oh, yes, please,
so you
please,
have the
please.
Information when you go to fill out your grant form.
Thank you.
It's gonna ask you person by person, how did they vote?
Okay. Okay.
Did you do that
So-
before?
I would like to make a resolution. What do you want me to call it? Motion. I would like to make a motion that we make a YEC grant.
Yeah,
File.
like,
35.
Apply for the YEC grant.
Yeah,
What's the maximum we can apply for? $3,000?
3,000, but realistically, you're probably getting 2,500.
Okay. You've got more people doing it now, right?
Yeah.
Because when we started it, you're like, hey, do this. I got
Yeah,
money.
yeah. I mean, or you can make it,
Right.
you can say up to 3,000, and that gives you great flexibility.
Up to $3,000.
Okay.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And is this something that we maybe want to see if any businesses or anything, I don't know, if local businesses would want to make a contribution? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there would. Because a lot of them have been like, hey, what is that? Can we get kids out of that? I'm like, yeah, you can actually.
I don't know if that would be something to, just thinking, as this begins to grow and prize money and just even feeding the kids lunch and doing that type of thing, there's expenses that are involved.
Okay.
And especially as it grows, because it's grown every year.
Mhm.
I am anticipating it to grow again, because I know Jayhawk has reached out to me 2 or 3 times of, hey, what do we need to be doing different than we did last year?
Okay.
So,
Bring more than one.
yeah.
Did they only bring one?
There's a hard conversation with Miss Gentry about her willingness to do it.
To adjourn. Sorry. Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
We're gonna look at next month.
Oh, yeah. Let's get that on there. Because we probably will need to meet because of the EYC. Or the YEC, I'm sorry. Again, I'm out. I do not think I can commit to being here February 4th because I just don't know how this surgery is going to go. So tentatively I had it for February 11th.
Okay.
Do you want to do that? I know you said you have a conflict.
Sounds like you've got a bigger conflict than I do.
Well, we could move it to the 18th is what I was going to. If you wanted to move it to the 18th.
I would almost prefer the 18th. Does anybody have a conflict there?
I think I'm good.
And I will say too, I would rather get away from that second Tuesday because that second Thursday of the month, I have to go to Chanute and there's like 4 meetings that day, every second Thursday. So and that keeps me not out of the office 2 days or, roughly out of the office 2 days a week. So, yeah.
So we could shoot for February 18th, but then in March, we are going to have the YEC is going to be the 4th, and we sometimes
Right.
had a meeting before that, just kind of, I
The
don't know.
18th will be 2 weeks before. Or a week
Yeah,
before,
it
2 weeks.
would be 2 weeks before that.
And then going forward, if you want to try to stay on that first Tuesday.
So not have one in March.
Well, we usually have one in March. We just have it right before the E-Community Foundation.
Yeah, because that's March
Or
4th.
right before the YEC.
Do you think the 18th is okay though to do that then?
Yeah.
Okay, will that be enough time? I mean, that's what I'm getting at, and then just not have one in March.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we can do whatever.
And then we can report back
In April.
in April.
18th works.
Okay, so February 18th. 8:30 or 9?
I know I'm the only one that likes 8:30.
I'm good. Either but 9.
Hey, you were here.
I was here. Shocker. Oh.
I guess it
Early,
doesn't say
it's
our
early.
meeting's at 9 o'clock, so. All right, we'll just say 9 a.m. then.
Okay.
I know it stinks. Did you go to work and then come back?
So today I had to go to the courthouse first, so I try to plan, if I
Yeah.
got errands, I do those.
Okay.
I mean, I've been on the phone with the office all morning, so it's not like it's.
Okay. So February 18th, 9 a.m. March, we're not going to have one. Is that what we're implying?
That's what I heard, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, you're making headway. I think a lot of things are going well, and so I hope you're not getting discouraged, and I hope you're.
Just tell Brian every Sunday that might get fired the next day. Okay.
Worst
Always
things
like,
that
if
happen.
I'm home early on Monday, you'll know what happened.
I make a motion
Painting
we
jobs
adjourn.
already lined up. I'm one of
So
them.
Janelle motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Josh, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let me get this shut up.